There's a story of a young boy who tried to get himself a glass of milk out of the refrigerator. And when he pulled the bottle of milk out of the refrigerator, it dropped and it broke. His mother came into the kitchen and said, "Oh, we must clean up this mess. After we remove the broken glass, would you like to play in the milk? Then you can choose how we'll clean it up, with a sponge or a mop or a towel. Then we'll take another empty bottle outside and we'll practice pouring water from that bottle into a glass until you can do it on your own." I love the fact that this boy wasn't scolded or punished or made wrong for making a mistake. His curiosity and desire for independence were rewarded instead of punished. He grew up to be Dr. Jonas Salk, whose polio vaccine spared many lives and the ravages of this horrible disease. Instead of punishing Jonas, his mother turned the broken bottle incident into a fun experience, into a learning experience, into a game. By loving him, she demonstrated to him how he could be responsible for his actions, how he could improve, how he can be comfortable making mistakes. And most importantly, I think she taught him that making mistakes is okay. Very important understanding for a scientist, wouldn't you believe? What a great lesson for us. Can you imagine what the world would be like if we treated each other and blessed each other when we made mistakes, instead of making us wrong and punishing us? What a world that would be. The Divine Mother within me teaches me to love myself. So today we celebrate Mother's Day. We celebrate the love our mothers had for us and the love we had for them. And I know that perhaps everybody did not have a beautiful and loving mother. Some of us maybe even experienced being a mother and may have not necessarily done that perfectly all the time. Anybody relate to that? But I know that we always do the best that we can. So today we are going to hold this motherly love. We're going to experience it ourselves and embrace it in the same way that this motherly love, this is really God's love that we're celebrating. And it's the motherly aspect or the divine feminine that we think of as motherly love. The Divine Mother within us helps us to heal the hurts and the fears of our inner child. So today we're looking to this higher principle of divine love. We know that this principle comforts and heals and loves our inner child. Our inner child is a part of us. All of us have an inner child, even when we're not pregnant. And maybe we have two inner childs when we're pregnant, but a number of us in the room wouldn't know about that. The inner child is not just an expression of our child self, but it's the accumulation of our lived experiences through all life's changes. Our inner child can be a source of strength and can also be a significant part of us being an adult. Each one of us has an inner child, and I think that when we can get in touch with this inner child, it can help us by nurturing that inner child, we're actually nurturing ourselves, which can help us to be stronger and more powerful spiritual beings. I found a number of quotes about the inner child, and I'd like to share a couple of them with you. Pablo Neruda said, "A child who does not play is not a child. But the man who does not play has lost forever the child that lived within him." So important to play. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Rebecca Pepper Sinclair said, "The reluctance to put away childish things may be a requirement of genius." So, being a genius like this man over here, who plays all the time.
Wait, did somebody come in?
But that's, it's that ability to play that helps us to connect with that inner child, which is connected to our inner genius. We talked last week about love and how connecting with the presence of love brings out that inner genius within all of us. Winona Judd said, "It sounds corny, but I promised my inner child that never again will I ever abandon myself or anyone else again." Wow. And Kitty Loggins said, "My quest these days is to find my long-lost inner child. But I'm afraid if I do, I'll end up with food in my hair and way too much in love with my cats." A healthy inner child may seem playful, childlike, and fun, but an injured or traumatized inner child challenges us as adults, particularly when we are triggered by memories of past wounds. It's okay to feel a little bit uncertain about this idea of our inner child, unless we've done some therapy or really worked with it. Some of us may not even really be able to fully embrace what it is. But this inner child is part of our personality. It's part of who we are. And I like to think that this inner child is a representation of our past experiences. And it is that part of us that shows up in the present moment based on how we experienced things in the past. So when we can heal this inner child, we can show up and be totally present in the moment. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, everything is pushing our buttons and we're reacting as we did as an unhealthy child. So, how is the inner child hurt? There's a long list I have here of things that happens to many of us growing up, and these are things that can cause our inner child to be hurt. Things like a loss of a parent or a guardian, being physically abused or neglected, being emotionally abused or neglected, sexual abuse, serious illness, being bullied as a child, natural disasters, a family breakup or difficulties in the family, being a victim of violence, substance abuse in the household, domestic violence in the household, mental illness of a family member, being a refugee, feeling isolated from our family. Minor trauma is common in childhood. All of us experience some kind of trauma in some way and have difficult challenges. So even the healthiest childhood doesn't mean that you won't need to do some inner child work at some point in our lives. And if we don't sometimes learn to love this inner child, to heal some of the wounds that this inner child feels, we can carry these challenges into our lifetime. So it's really our goal today to look at how can we embrace this inner child so that we don't self-sabotage, so that we don't do self-defeating behavior, so that we aren't self-harming ourselves, so that we don't experience passive-aggressive behavior, so that we aren't violent in any way. You know, I lost my mother at 8 and my dad at 12, and I was also and I didn't even realize this until recently, I was emotionally abused by my stepfather. And as a result, I believe that I experienced a lot of self-defeating behavior. I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't believe that I was worthy of success. I really didn't believe that I deserved to be happy. I was 40 years old before I was able to discover and nurture the things that I really love. I was 40 years old before I decided that I could find a career that satisfied me and really was able to bring out the things that I love to do. And much of the difficulty I had was a result of self-sabotage and self-defeating behavior. And I give a lot of credit to Unity. I discovered Unity when I was 40 years old. And it was through those teachings and in that Unity Church in Walnut Creek that I learned to love myself, to really love myself, and to love my inner child. And this basic truth really changed my life. And we know that the Divine Mother within teaches me to love myself. When we are afraid or powerless or limited, or we feel separate from God, we feel unworthy, we feel sad, sometimes we can be mad, and it's often because our inner child is hurting because it didn't get that developmental structure and love and compassion that being loved would have helped in its spiritual progression. So we could call upon the Divine Mother within, the presence of God within us to lovingly support and nurture us on our path of spiritual growth. No matter how old we are, it can happen right now, and we can be transformed by this love as this Christ presence, this God presence within us bathes us in this love and nurtures us. So here are some steps that we can do, that you can do to really nurture your inner child. And the first thing that you can do is to really lovingly listen. You know, when you get the thoughts of not feeling good enough, or you find yourself shutting down, it's really that inner child that's reacting. And if you can turn to that child and lovingly listen to it, even to ask, so what's going on? Tell me what's going on. Much like a loving mother would say to her child, tell me what's going on. I'm here to listen to you. And the second thing you can do is to accept your child's feelings. I know part of the abuse that I felt that I got from my stepfather was that he never wanted to hear my feelings. He never was like, don't feel that. Blaine, that's not important. You know, think about something else. Go do something constructive, he would say to me. But we can bring that to light and heal that by asking our inner child, what are you feeling? Or when we are feeling something, just really get into it and say, what am I feeling? I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling hurt. I feel bad. And just really listen and let that child partner ourselves talk to us. So much healing happens just in the listening. And the next thing we can do is to love our inner child. Even sometimes I find it helpful just to hold myself. You know? Just to imagine that I'm embracing that child presence within me. I'm embracing that child, loving that child. Allowing the presence of God really is what's doing the healing and the loving, and just to let myself feel that, embrace that. Not to push it away. This is such an important step, and this is really where the transformation happens. In the process of really embracing who we are, really loving ourselves, being present to ourselves. Because when we are in love, what happens? We react, don't we? We act out. We feel sad, we feel anger. We have all this stuff that gets pushed down inside of us. And by releasing the love, we really let it out. It's going to come out one way or another. Right? It's going to come out. But we want it to come out in a healthy, powerful, and loving way. And the next thing we can do is to let our inner child and adult child play. Do you give yourself an opportunity to play? I mean, to do the things that you like to do as a child, to draw, to write, to, goodness gracious, go down to the ocean and walk in the sand, and to really just let yourself play. Give yourself the freedom to be present to that playful self that you are. And to give yourself the freedom to play. I know that I was made to feel guilty often for playing. I used to be told all the time, my stepfather would say, Blaine, why don't you do something constructive? So I had a little building set, so I'd take out my construction set and build something. So we want to let our adult self and our child self play. And the next thing we could do is to thank our inner child. In this process of loving it, just to thank it for being there, for being what it is, that child expression of us. And just only, again, be present to it and thank it as our God self, to thank that child within us for accomplishing all of the things that it's accomplished, for putting up with difficulties and challenges, and just saying, wow, you are amazing. You ever tell yourself how amazing you are? It's easy to forget sometimes, isn't it? And the next thing we can do is to appreciate your mother and your motherly love. And now hear that. We're kind of sharing the love between the inner child and the divine mother. And now the child is saying to the mother, I love you. I love you for being here and nurturing me. I love you, Spirit. I love you, spiritual consciousness. I love you, Blaine. To say that to yourself. I love that divine, mothering, loving aspect of you. Let's say this together. The divine mother within me teaches me to love myself. And let's say it again with, not loud, but I invite you to say it with feeling. Yeah? And just feel it deep. Let's say it together. The divine mother within me teaches me to love myself. Feel that. A young man is walking through a supermarket to pick up a few things when he notices an elderly lady is following him around. Thinking nothing of it, he kind of ignored her, and ashamed replied the young man, "Is there anything that I can do for you?" "Yes," she said, "as I'm leaving, would you say, 'Goodbye, Mother'? It would make me feel so much better." "Well, sure," answered the young man. When the older woman was leaving, he called out, "Goodbye, Mother." And as he stepped up to the checkout counter, he saw that his total was $127.50. And he said to the checker, "How can that be? I only purchased a few things." And the clerk said, "Well, your mother said that you would pay for your pocket." And the young man said, "You know, that's a small price to pay for the great lesson that all of my mothers have taught me, to love myself." The Divine Mother within, the Divine Mother within me teaches me to love myself. And I invite you to close your eyes. Then take a deep breath. Allow your body to relax. And release your weight into your chair. To breathe in and to give a few sighs and to relax. And let your body just be present to the chair, to relax into the chair. And now pay attention to the gentle rhythm of your breath. Perhaps you can feel your body rise and sink as you breathe deeply. And every out breath takes you deeper into relaxation. And allow yourself to feel the comfort of your body. And as you continue to relax, follow your mind back into the storehouse of special memories, back into a magical, peaceful time in your childhood. Maybe you had a secret place. Imagine that you're there. And here in your secret place, remember the colors, the sounds, the smells, the feeling. The safety. And as you relax deeper, you find your child self there. Little you. And as you gaze upon your child's self, share your love with him or her. Imagine that your heart is open. Perhaps you're able to embrace him or her, hold their hand, and take a good look at your inner child. Feel the energy, the love that surrounds him or her. And know that your inner child is happy to see you. Imagine that you can look deep into their eyes, into their hearts. Perhaps it's been a long time since your inner child has seen you. And there's so much to share. Perhaps there are words spoken from your little child, thoughts, feelings, and you listen. All you have to do is listen. Without judgment. Perhaps your inner child shares some feelings, some doubts, some fears, some love. And just allow yourself to listen. And to look through compassionate eyes, through loving eyes at this inner child. Perhaps you can feel it, perhaps you can share it, perhaps you can say, I love you. Perhaps you can assure your inner child that you'll always be there. Always there to listen, always there to love. Always there to take a walk through the garden of life. Perhaps your inner child takes your hand and walks you through a garden, showing you how beautiful the flowers are, the grass, the birds and the wind. And then your inner child looks at you and says, I love you. I love you. I love you for being God's representation of motherly love in my life. And to then feel it and let that love in. Let it radiate through your body and your mind, your spirit, your whole beingness. And your inner child thanks you for being who you are. And in the same way, you thank your inner child. You could give your inner child a hug or a touch, a kiss. Know that this child is always within you, a part of you. Breathing in and breathing out. I invite you to slowly and gently begin to bring your awareness back to this moment. And so open your eyes whenever you're ready. The Divine Mother within me teaches me to love myself. I really got to love these two ladies who are in this group called Stow Good, and this is a song that they wrote for Mother's Day.
Happy Happy Mother's Day. I'm Stowe Daly.
And I'm Karen Taylor Good.
Together, we are Stowe Good. And whether you had or have an amazing mother,
Or even if you didn't, and you don't, either way, this song is for you.
we hope you feel wrapped up in love today. Love the lawnmower.
Should we do it with the lawnmower?
Let's do.
Okay.
My mother was a quilter, a poet and a sage. She wrote her life in fabric instead of on a page. She wrapped my life in wonder. Her love made me whole. Here's the prayer with every stitch she wove into my soul. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Know that you are always taken care of. All is perfect and complete when you laugh, love, and believe. Let your mother wrap you up in love. She'd hold me in her arms and say, I'm not your only one. You have other mothers in the stars, the moon and sun. The trees, the air, the rivers, they've been your gifts since birth. Take care of them forever. You'll be held by Mother Earth. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Know that you are always taken care of. All is perfect and complete when you laugh, love, and believe. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Somehow she left her heart in every quilt she made. When this you see, remember me, drawn in her special way. She said, when I leave this earth, don't grieve me when I'm gone. I'll be joining up with angels and your Father, Mother, God. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Know that you are always taken care of. All is perfect and complete when you laugh, love, and believe. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Let your mother
The lawnmower's in the wrong key.
I like what Rumi wrote. We can think of this for a partner, a lover, or for the presence of God, motherly love, divine love. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. So I invite you now to prepare your love offerings. There should be an envelope on your desk, and thank you in advance for sharing your gift with us. Helps us to do this wonderful work that we get to continue doing. And I think, and I believe, and I know that as you share your gifts with us, it connects your spirit, your essence to this work that we do. I know and believe that what we do is impacting not only this community, but our beautiful island of Maui and the world as well. And I think that's where our real truth and our real message lies, is in creating a world that works for each other. So thank you for playing your part in it, and let's pray and affirm our love offering blessing together. Let's say together. Through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And so it is. We are so blessed. Michelle and Mike donated these amazing roses to us today, as they traditionally do on Mother's Day. And what's fun about this is all of the roses you can take home with you. They have a little watering tube at the end. So please take one with you before you leave today. And I'd also like to show appreciation for our videographer and sound person and set design person. Emily Goss, who does so many things behind the scene. It's really unimaginable, everything that she does. I don't know how she keeps track of it. I can't keep track of it all. But thank you for all that you do. All right, then let's see. Oh, you might want to know that next Sunday, our prayer chaplains are going to do a tribute service to Reverend Mary Omwake. It'll be right here at 9:30, and they're going to share. The chaplains, all of them were here when Mary was here, and have great stories to share and little tidbits of truth that she shared with them when Mary was here. And so I invite you to come next week, and this will be a very fun and invigorating service, I know. And you'll need to sign up in the back, where it'll be much like today. We are taking reservations only for 20 people. And if there's a need for more, another service, we'll do that also. But right now we're just taking sign-ups from the 9:30 service. And those sign-up sheets are on the table on the lanai. And then also, we are doing a memorial service for Reverend Mary right here on Sunday, May 16th. We're going to do 3 services, 9:30, 11, and 1:30. And I'm excited about that. We'll be able to share our thoughts and feelings about Mary. And Patricia's trying to get my attention.
The chaplains are doing next Sunday.
Yes.
That's the 16th.
Right.
You're doing the
Oh.
town service on the 23rd.
Oh, I have the dates
Oh,
wrong.
you got the date wrong.
Yeah, it should be the 12th. Okay, that's right. The chaplains are next week, which is the 16th. And I'm doing the service on the 23rd, which is the following week. And thank you, Patricia, for double checking. You know, you always need to double check everything that I say and do. And thank you for doing it in such a beautiful way. So take a note of that. And the sign-up sheets are also in the back. And if you're watching this on Facebook, you'll need to contact Emily Goss at 808-268-8310 to make reservations for that service. It'll be like this one. We will wear masks and safe distance, and it will be for 20 people only. So sign up now. Tickets are going fast. All right, let's see. You know, we've been doing a capital campaign for a new van, and our target has been $10,000. Right now, we are at $6,000, and we are visioning that very soon we'll be back to doing normal services here in our amazing building on High Street. And having a shuttle gives us the ability for a lot of us to park off grounds and shuttle back and forth, so that we can keep our parking on site for elderly and handicapped and to new people. So thank you for contributing to that. Also, you know, we have been doing our services on Zoom on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. We've discontinued that. Now we're doing Facebook Live at 10 o'clock. And those of you who are watching on Facebook know that that's the case. And, no, sorry, 9:30.
Yes.
See, it's a good thing that God's everywhere, because God's in all the people that correct me when I'm thinking about something else. So our services will be at 9:30 on Facebook every Sunday morning. And thank you for tolerating some of our mechanical issues. We are working on them, as well as our spiritual issues, and challenges. Well, thanks for being with us today. And so also you can find more talks like this on our YouTube channel, Unity Church of Maui's YouTube channel. We've got lots of music, lots of talks going back a number of years. And I just recently did a Ho'oponopono meditation that's up there that's gotten 104 views. And I invite you to check that out. I think you'll find it very relaxing and healing. And so I think that's it for today. So why not, those of us who are here, we're going to invite you to stand and let's say the prayer of protection together. Together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And now, God bless you, dear friend. Thank you for being here today, and see you next time. Mahalo and aloha.